Hello and welcome tankers to World of Tanks with PR154. Today we're doing a gameplay review of the Kunze Panzer, which is the new Tier 9 German medium tank available through the improved Battle Pass of Season 4. More on how you can get the tank a little bit later. Right now, the tank is in its travel mode, so it has two modes, travel mode and siege mode. Travel mode gives you excellent mobility characteristics, 65 kilometers per hour forward speed, fantastic power to weight ratio. It's the primary role of this tank is as a sniper, also with excellent concealment values. So you can use that mobility and power to weight ratio early in the game in order to get to your favourite position. In the case of Studzianki, I really like playing from the A-line ridge. A dab of the X key transforms this tank into its siege mode, characterised by the change to the reticule here, and as is customary on Studzianki, we're working this ridge and trying to shoot out the walls near the coal and rail facility there, and try to get some spots, flanking shots into enemy heavy tanks. Unfortunately, it does become a rather obvious target for us as we take a number of artillery hits on the way in. You'd like to hope our friendly artillery is also working the enemy tanks on the opposite side of the ridge in the same fashion. So once one team exerts control over this particular ridge, then they can start to exert control over that rail coal facility that's currently on fire. And then it just gives the enemy a lot less options to play the game from, and you can pretty well be assured of victory if you can take this ridge and take the rail facility. So the beautiful part about the siege mode is it restricts your accuracy down to 0.29 meters per 100 meters, which is about as good as it gets in Tier 9 medium tanks. This does come at a cost of your mobility, however. Your forward speed is reduced to 30 kilometers per hour, your reverse speed is at 17 kilometers per hour, which is still fairly respectable, but if you've been spotted and you're trying to get out of trouble, it's always going to feel a bit sluggish. To try to improve the survivability here, I've actually put a turbocharger on this vehicle, which if you put that in the mobility slot, you can increase your reverse speed by 3 kilometers per hour. So I get 20 kilometers per hour reverse speed on this. It's not too bad. DPM also suffers while in the siege mode, and so if your engagement is commonly at short to medium ranges, you may actually wish to consider going back to your travel mode, where your DPM increases to around 2,600-ish, just as a base position. Speaking of positions, ours is looking a little under threat at the moment. Our Batchat 25T has pulled out, leaving just my tank on the ridge, and we know there's at least 3 enemy tanks out there, all keen to take this ridge. We can see the AE Phase 1, which is also available through the Basic Battle Pass. You can actually pick that up on a Basic Battle Pass, provided you complete enough missions. Fortunately, I have a reasonable gun line of tank destroyers behind me, so if they try to make a move, they'll be shut down fairly promptly. Sort of see one of the excellent features of this tank is its hull has been mounted with a 5-degree tilt on it, so you already get a natural 5 degrees of gun depression. On top of that, the gun depresses another 10 degrees within the turret, so a total of 15 degrees of gun depression. So if you're on a ridgeline, and particularly with a bush where you can take advantage of one of the best concealment ratings amongst Tier 9 light and medium tanks, you can become a very dangerous opponent. So with the AE Phase 1 taken out and a lot of low hit point enemies, we can now start to do what this tank loves to do, and that's just to poke out of bushes on ridges and start and start causing damage and shutting down enemy tanks. So once this CS63 is taken out of the picture, we can play this game a lot more flexibly and exert a lot more map control. So we're switching to siege mode because I really want confidence of this shot. And you can see all the reasons why you don't want to be too hasty pushing over there, because the enemy also has quite a large number of tank destroyers that are monitoring that ridge, because it is very much an important strategic position in Studzianki. So a little more detail on how to actually get this tank. You do need to get the improved Battle Pass for Battle Pass Season 4. And that allows you to collect enough tokens in order to pick up the tank. There are other Battle Pass vehicles available, which we'll get into later. But unfortunately, there's a certain number of tokens required for this particular tank over and above the others. So you do need to get the improved Battle Pass in order to pick up this tank. So in terms of capital outlay, you'll need 3 chapters at 2,500 gold per chapter to acquire the improved Battle Pass. So initial capital outlay 7,500 gold. On top of that, you then need to complete 140 out of the 150 stages available, which can be quite a mission. Fortunately, if you don't have the time or the inclination to get through every mission, you can actually use gold to quite literally buy your way through at a cost of 250 gold per stage. So in theory, and I'm not suggesting that anyone does this, but in theory, if you had all the money but you didn't have the time, you could buy the improved Battle Pass and buy your way through the missions. And so you're looking at a total maximum capital outlay of 42,500 gold in order to pick up this tank. Back to the game, we're starting to exert a bit more map control here. We've taken our A-line ridge. We're pushing this lonely E100 out of the coal and rail facility. He's quite hopelessly outnumbered, but sort of doing his best. We've cleared out most of the tank destroyers that would otherwise be sort of countering like this as well. But obviously the artillery is still making itself known and really singling us out there. But who can blame it? So we're now in a very powerful position. We've taken the coal and rail facility, we've taken the A-line ridge, and now it's just a matter of tightening the noose around the enemy that really doesn't have a lot more cover available to it. It's got the town and it's got these bushes down the one line. So here we'll see the Kunze Panzer in its element. So you're using its 15 degrees of gun depression, using its concealment, using its accuracy in siege mode to basically shut down the enemies with flanking fire such as this. I was probably a little hasty with that shot. I should have waited half a second because this reload is quite can be quite painful on this tank when you're in siege mode. But when you have the ability to land hits with that sort of precision, it is somewhat forgivable. So everyone's slowly working in, tightening the noose, and so I've decided to head down the one line and try and get some retribution on these artillery pieces that had sort of been bombing us on the A-line ridge all game, and that sees them shut down and out of the game. The last tank standing, the enemy IS-3-2, the Soviet twin-barreled tank, and an enemy Super Conqueror, which is now being countered by the Object 705A and the M48 Patton. So that's the game, folks. There you have it. The Kunze Panzer Tier 9 German medium tank, available through the improved Battle Pass. I hope you've enjoyed this replay. For a more extensive and detailed review, please check out the Wix article I put together in the link below, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care out there.